To start this video off, one, I do not like to be awkward when it comes to making videos like this in the same room as whoever's in the house. Actually, whoever's in the room at that time. So, apologies. And I've been waiting so long to actually. There's so many people in the house, so I need to actually wait it out and actually do this one. And here I am. I'm recording this on June 8th. So things might have changed down the line, but I'm just gonna make this video to see about. Just to put my thoughts around. Now, protests. I'm actually wondering what's going to happen in the next few weeks. Most likely more cases probably more cases and more deaths probably in the next 2 weeks. Aside from that, I wonder if this situation were to progress. I mean, we all know who's in the fucking office at this very moment. And what I'm really... Did he ever say anything about how long the military and the National Guard's gonna be around for? I mean, I already saw clips of Blackhawks flying over Washington, D.C. So, from the looks of things, luckily they don't have Luckily, that particular Blackhawk doesn't have mounted machine guns on both sides of the fucking door. So we're good on that. If they actually do, well, we're screwed. Well, either expect two things. More protests and more riots. The second thing it will either be, and the other thing is a possibility of a civil war. I mean, we do have, according to the Constitution, we have the right to bear arms. And how I personally interpret it as the Second Amendment that can support the First Amendment. If a government is infringing on the First Amendment, then we have the right to bear arms to fight against it, to fight back and enforce the Constitution again. At least that's what I believe. The only reason why, I know I'm not alone on that part, because I've seen gun channels that actually said the same thing. The first 10 amendments go. The first 10 amendments go. Is in support of the First Amendment. The right to bear arms can go along with is one of them. That's what I wholeheartedly believe. I'm not asking to bear arms at the very moment. And I do not condone it for now. And I do not condone it, at least for now. If the situation gets worse, then I won't say anything until that. I won't say anything because the situation might not be getting worse than we thought it gonna be. That's just a personal fear. In terms of rioting, I do not condone it. I do not condone it. At the same time, I understand why, and this is the reason why. Before I start before I start the clip, I want to say I'm backtracking what the heck I said earlier. What I meant to say is something similar to what gun channels were saying. Not in the exact words, but similarly to it. Just throwing that out there. If you don't know what I'm talking about, well, go watch Garanthem. One of the gun channels that I personally...
Make justice a reality for the Negro. I think we've got to see that a riot is the language of the unheard. And what is it that America has failed to hear? It has failed to hear that the economic plight of the Negro poor has worsened over the...
Then again, a few seconds, few seconds, or like a minute, or a moment later, he said...
I would say that every summer we are going to have this kind of vigorous protest. My hope is that it will be nonviolent. I would hope that we can avoid riots because riots are self-defeating and socially destructive. I would hope that we can avoid riots, but that we will be as militant and as determined next summer.
So far, everyone's been throwing around... So far, everyone just throwing around their own words instead. While the people are rioting, I've been asking this question I want to ask this question. Have any of you ever learned about Martin Luther King and the civil rights movement that he progresses? Well, it's true that he got assassinated, but the movement that he progresses should have been dealt with 70 years ago. No, wrong number. 60 years ago. This entire thing should have been dealt with 60 motherfucking years ago. God, I hate... This is what happened when a movement decided to die down, thinking that it's all good. I don't actually believe that one bit. I really honestly don't. Long as we keep fighting, things could have changed, at least in a slight bit. That's what I wholeheartedly believe. But unless we're paying attention to every small things when it comes to injustice in this country, almost none of us, including future generations, might not be where they wanted it. What's the word I was looking for? Oh well. I'm gonna have to drop it out. I'm gonna have to drop it. So far, my county is no. I don't know if the National Guards are still in my county, but at least the riot stopped. The riot stopped. I'm still wondering, and I don't know about the protests at the high school. At least not yet. because I've been asking my friends about it. One finally responded saying that I'm crazy. Am I crazy? Yeah, I don't give a shit. If I get shot, that's it. Sacrifices? Probably. I mean, in order to gain something, you have to sacrifice something in return. Whatever sacrifice that might be, if that's the cost of victory and upholding the Constitution, maybe. Originally, I was going. Now that I think about it, originally, I was actually thinking of throwing two of my friends under the bus because they chickened out on the protests and knowing that if they get arrested, they're gonna get a good ass beating. I can understand somewhat, but at the same time, a couple of days ago, I did what's it called? I was planning on calling them out for being cowards. Looking back on it, I still believe that. Looking back on it now, I I somewhat second get. I have second thoughts on it now. At the same time, I still believe they're cowards. If I, and I don't know if I really want to call him a hypocrite because of what they is because I don't remember what a friend of mine said, but this is freshman. But what he said was was during freshman year. So I can't tell. So I haven't met them in a long time. I started to reconnect them just recently, but excuse me. I don't really want to know if I really want to throw them under the bus even further. At the same time, I get where they at the same time I get where they're coming from. And keep in mind there and please keep in mind that these friends of mine are blacks and light skins. As a guy in the Asian community, my entire family doesn't really give a shit, two shits about the whole protesting, and really do not want to be involved. Understandable. They really want me to stay out of it, but I honestly do not give a shit. I want to do. I would love to do something that might contribute to the war, to the United States. But at the current moment and my current situation, I can't do it like I really wanted it to. The only thing I can do now is just make videos, and hopefully I could entertain them to actually do things a lot better. I know I'm not making videos at the moment. I do have videos recorded, it's just that I don't know if I really want to upload them. I think that's gonna be it for now. I'll get. I would like to ask, what do you guys think on this situation? I'd like to ask, are you gonna protest? Or are you willing to stay out of it and watch from the sidelines? Providing I know I've done this too, but I would like to call people out on this. I'd like to call many people out on this. If you don't keep fighting, whether it's virtually or publicly, technically, technically you're voicing, technically you're fighting publicly, but not physically. Either physically fight, either physically fight for equality, or fight equality, or fight virtually. Keep on fighting, and hopefully, an outcome. We might get an outcome that we might want. We're gonna need to pay attention to to a lot of these things at the same time. If we don't, we might go back. If we don't, well, this shit's gonna happen for another 8 or more years or so. That's all I really want. And that's all I really wanted to say.